Hey, what is going on, guys? Joe here, 690ADV, radio 690ADV, 690ADV.com. What's happening? Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Don't forget, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. You can be part of it. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you're part of it. And don't forget, try to leave us feedback if you can. It really does help us out. Anyway, today, Thursday, action cameras. What is the best action camera that's out there? You're going to hear GoPro. You're probably going to hear Sony, or you're going to hear Prism. There's so many. God, they're all over the place. There's tons and tons and tons of action cameras. I'm going to show you the ones that I use, what I do with my my motorcycle rides and my reviews and all that type of stuff. And is it the best? I don't know. Good, really good. That's probably going to be the best thing. If you're thinking about maybe getting into doing some video, either podcasting or doing some motorcycle videos or stuff like that, I'll show you what I have, what I use, and how I get my audio and how I do all that type of stuff. Now, when it comes to the editing and stuff like that, that's going to be a little bit different. That's kind of a whole other segment. Just depends on what you're comfortable with. There's so many editors out there for doing your videos after you're done that you just got to find something that works for you and something that's simple. And a lot of times, just to me, don't overthink it. Just make it as clean as possible, without having too much. Just remember, you're not Steven Spielberg or George Lucas. So it's YouTube. Don't overthink it. Anyway, on to action cameras. What's the best action camera? Why are some better than others? And why does everybody pump up all these different cameras? And you see all the commercials and you see all these things. And well, action cameras, in all honesty, they all relatively do pretty much the same thing. The question that you need to ask yourself is, what do you want to shoot? What type of environment are you going to be in? And that really can kind of dictate what you need to get as far as an action camera, and also accessories. What type of accessories are you going to need? Do you ride motorcycles, mountain bikes? Do you skateboard? Do you surf? What is it that you want to capture? Is it going to be stationary? And that can kind of dictate, because not all cameras are going to have all the same attachments. Now, GoPro kind of started it all, and GoPro has tons and tons and tons of attachments. And then other manufacturers and other people make attachments for the GoPro, and they're pretty universal, which is really, really nice. So that's why GoPro and the GoPro knockoffs or the clones are so very, very popular, because of all the different stuff that you can add on to it. What it boils down to is that, depending, if it is a GoPro, it depends on what make and model that you get. Batteries are really a big deal, because these action cameras, they'll tell you that they're going to run and they're going to record for up to, say, 120 minutes on a full charge. What they don't tell you is that 120 minutes is usually at the lowest resolution possible. If you're shooting in 720p at 30 frames a second, that's going to get X amount of time. Now, if you bump that up to 60 frames per second, you've just increased the frame rate, which uses more battery. Then you jump up to 1080p, then you do 30 frames or 60 frames, and then from there it can go up to 2K, 4K, and then yada, yada, yada. So I don't want to get into all the different stuff, but and then you hear about all the different types of recording features. Nobody even cares about 720 anymore. All you hear is 1080p, and you hear about 4K. And then now there's the new one, it's like 4.5K or something like that. So the question is most people their televisions are not even more capable than 1080p. And most people are still watching in 720p. Believe it or not, if you watch some of my videos, a lot of them are shot at 720p at 60 frames per second. And if you compare 720 to 1080, yes, there is a difference, but not much. I mean, you're not going to sit there and know a total, it's not going to like freak you out in the clarity, because you only get to achieve that clarity based off of what you're watching it on. That's really what it boils down to. Are you watching it on a computer monitor? Are you watching it on a television? What are you watching it on? That's really going to dictate it. The reason I shoot 720p is I keep my file sizes smaller. It's super crisp. It looks great. It's perfect because the 60 frames per second allows me to capture faster frame rate. So if I'm riding a motorcycle at speed, it allows me to get finer detail when I'm riding, and it captures motion a whole lot better. But I don't want to get into too much of totally what the differences are, but that's really the selling point. And then you've got slow motion and still and time lapse and all these different things that go with these cameras, and those are the selling points. So the question is what do you really need? In all honesty, being short and simple and to the point, the best action camera for you is what you can afford. I'm going to be honest with you. What can you afford? Because I've had knockoff cameras that do a really, really, really good job. They like the what is it? The Go one. They're all over the place. You can just get on Amazon. I'll put a couple that I've seen, and I'll put the two that I've used before. They do a really good job. I'm going to tell you why I use GoPro and the Prism camera from Sena, whatever you want to call it. There's a reason why I use it, and it's not that I don't use the knockoff brands because of it. The reason I don't use the off brands is because there's one thing that I can't attach to it at the moment that makes it a big deal for me, because it helps me out, and I'm going to show you in just a second what makes it so cool. But it doesn't work with every camera, so know that, and I'm going to tell you that too. But the knockoff cameras, the best camera is really the one that you can afford and the one that's really going to work for you and do the job that you need it to do. Usually you're buying an action camera to capture action. So, get one that's going to work. I would say at least make sure it has 720p, but almost all of them are 1080p. 4K, man, if you've never shot video before, 4K is beautiful. At the end of the day, most people can't watch 4K on their televisions, and not only that, to process that and actually do it, you better have a really, really good computer to sit there and render down 4K videos. So keep that in mind too. The 1080p is still a little bit of a hog when it comes to trying to edit your video. 720 is not that bad, but if you're putting anything on YouTube or Vimeo or Facebook or stuff like that, people don't want to look at grainy, awful video. They want something that's pretty crisp so they can actually see what's going on. So keep that in mind too. So I would say at least 720 with 30 frames. Probably 60 is really optimal, and then 1080p and up is perfect. So but if you want 4K, get 4K. If you want to shoot some time lapse, you want to do some night shots, or if you're setting up a camp or something like that, it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun to play with. It depends on what you need and what you think you're going to use it for. Also, get more than one battery. I'm going to tell you that right now, because battery life only lasts so long. And not only that, the batteries you buy for that camera only work with that camera. So keep that in mind too. Same thing that goes for GoPro. The different Hero series, the batteries only work for those Hero series. Usually the Hero 3 and the Hero 4, they're the same. Those are the ones that I use. I'm going to tell you why. 5, 6, and 7, they use a different battery. So keep that in mind too with your batteries and some of the stuff that you have. They're not all going to be universal on that. All right, the camera that you usually see with my rant and rides, and you see me doing my reviews and stuff like that, most of my video footage is this guy right here. It's my GoPro. It's my Hero 4. I had a Hero 3. I sold it to a buddy because he was trying to get into it. So I gave him a great deal on it. But let me tell you why I use this specific camera. The reason I use this specific camera is right here. That little backpack right there. And that's what it's called. It's called the Sena backpack. It only works on the GoPro Hero 3 and on the Hero 4. And what it does is it has this little bitty piggyback right here. This connects it to the 2 USB ports here. But this backpack right here is a Bluetooth, okay? And then it connects onto the back of my GoPro. And then once I connect that onto the back of my GoPro, I basically put in my chip. I put on the connector, turn on my camera, flip on the switch, and you can go and check them out. I'll put it down in the description. And what that does is that creates a Bluetooth signal directly to the camera and to the video footage, and it gives me direct audio in HD, which is HD video. So it allows me to have HD audio and HD video at the same exact time. So I connect it to my headset and my helmet, and when I do that, that gives me that direct audio to my to all my video. So very cool. Sena actually makes one. It's called the Prism. And it does the exact same thing. It's a really, really cool camera. The only thing I don't like about this camera, I'm going to do a review on it. It's a fantastic camera. It's priced right. You get tons of accessories with this thing, which is really cool. I just don't like if you look at the 2 cameras, the GoPros are set up to basically shoot forward because they're kind of like a brick, but the camera's facing this way and it's slender. These have to shoot long ways. That's the only downside. So when you're hooking that up, like on your helmet, or if you're putting it, on your bike or something like that, it totally works. Don't if that's all you have, it's fantastic. But if you have options and you do have a GoPro, it just happens I do. I use my GoPro most of the time because it's easier to set up. That's the only reason. It doesn't shoot any better video. Matter of fact, the Prism shoots awesome 720 video. It shoots 1080p. HD time lapse. It does everything. Matter of fact, it does time lapse magnificently. I mean, it does a very, very, very good job. The other thing you can think about too, if you ever see me with my 2-minute tips and you walk around and you're wondering what that big brick thing is, it's hanging off on my shirt. It's this guy right here. It's called it's the Sena microphone. It's a Bluetooth microphone. And that connects to either one of these cameras. And that's how I get my audio to that. I don't use a lapel mic with a wireless deal or anything like that. I like that because that wireless mic there works up to 300 feet away if I want it to work. So I could set my camera up. I can walk around. I could do whatever. It's really, really nice. Is it kind of a little bit big? It's about the size of a Bic pen. I mean, not a Bic pen, but like a Bic lighter, the lighters that you see. It's really good. I mean, it's really good. And it's not that expensive. I want to say they're like $60 or something like that. I'll put it down in the description if you have any desire or any interest in that. That's it, man. These are just some things to keep your eye on. Just to let you know, that backpack for the Bluetooth, it does not work with the Hero 5, 6, or 7. It does not work with any make or model. It only works with the Hero 3 and the Hero 4. Keep that in mind. And it's pretty inexpensive, and it's very cool, and the audio sounds great. It really does. It sounds really, really good. So, and it allows you to keep from having a bunch of wires and stuff like that, and you can go with the wireless mic too. So, but that being said, these are just some thoughts if you're thinking about doing some video, or if you want to get into video or something like that. These cameras there's just so many. So keep that in mind. You can get pretty, oh my God, what's the best camera? In all honesty, if you buy a GoPro, you're going to win. It's good. GoPros are really, really nice cameras. They do a great job. I mean, I have tons of action cameras. I got a GoPro Cube. I have a solo shot that's up there that I use sometimes with a lapel mic, believe it or not. But for the most part, if I'm trying to be mobile and I'm trying to be light, I'm trying to keep all my stuff pretty simple or simplify everything, that's what I'm using. I'm taking my Sena, my Prism, and I'm using my GoPro 4 Hero with the Bluetooth backpack, and I use all Bluetooth. The reason being is because there's no wires. It's very easy setup. Takes 5 seconds. I just turn on 2 switches, and it connects within 10 or 15 seconds, and I'm off to the races. So you might want to keep that in mind. So if you're thinking about doing that, hopefully this helps you out. If you have any questions, don't forget 690adv@gmail.com. I'll do everything I can to help you out and try to point you in the right direction. That's what this is all about. It's about everybody helping everybody. Thanks for stopping in. I hope everybody has a great Thursday. Don't forget, we have a podcast on Sundays, and we have the Tuesday 2-minute tips. And tomorrow, Rant and Ryan, as always. We got a fun one tomorrow, so stick around. That ought to be pretty neat. Anyway, I appreciate you stopping in and being part of it. Don't forget, hit subscribe. Listen to us on iTunes. Try to give us some likes and some thumbs ups. We sure would appreciate it. Other than that, man, action cameras. They're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. You can pick up these little bit older models for a lot cheaper than the new ones. And believe it or not, just because they're older doesn't make them worse. They're actually built pretty good, and they work pretty fantastic. Anyway, that's it. Have a great Thursday. Appreciate your time. You guys enjoy the day. 690 out.